Once upon a time, 4 magicians known as Guardians kept peace over Earth. But their magic was made to serve, not to rule. So they chose 3 men to be kings, and humanity basked in a golden age of prosperity. Yet, power corrupts, and the 3 rulers craved a single throne. War erupted among their factions, and Earth fell into chaos. The Guardians were forced to take sides, and the land split into thirds. Many years later. Chapter 1. Happy 18th birthday, Survey. Today you will inherit your birthright, the title of the Water Guardian. I will step down from my position as the temporary guardian and relinquish all rights to you. After today, we will no longer be pupil and mentor, but guardian and aid. I promise not to let you down. Mage, my mentor and godfather, is a magician. For those who have studied magic in the country of Florian, the name Mage is not unfamiliar. During his golden age, Mage shaped the roots of magic theory. His title, Mage, was awarded by the late king in honor of Mage's contribution to the study of magic. But he's also a playful, kind man, someone who feels like a grandfather. Here, I brought some flowers. Seemed to fit the occasion. With a dramatic sweep of his hands, Mage reveals a bouquet of flowers. All the while, he gives a big, toothy grin as if proud of his own thoughtfulness. There are wildflowers, blue forget-me-nots, grandmother's favorites. I wish grandmother was here. She wanted to see me on my induction day. Your predecessor would have been proud of you. You've grown into a splendid woman. You flatter me. You deserve every praise. In fact, I'd say you're more prepared than your predecessor was. No, really. You're being silly. Grandmother was always prepared. There's a mischievous twinkle in Mage's eyes, but I can tell he's serious. Don't be fooled by all the reputation she built later in her life. When she was younger, your predecessor, my cousin, she was quite... The interrupting knocks are rhythmical and telltale. But even without the knocks, I know that smell of worship incense. Honorable Guardian. Avion kneels at Mage, his dark robe sweeping the floor. The smell of incense sticks to him like perfume. I catch a whiff of its violet scent when he rises. I apologize for my interruption. This is an urgent matter. Lord Azura has asked for your counsel, Mage. A dead man has been found not far from the village gate by the shores of the lake. Mage stands up straight, his eyes suddenly sharp and serious. That can't be. I kept watch last night and there was nothing out of the ordinary. Mage and I kept watch together many times in the past, a simple task for a quiet town. But yesterday was my first day alone on a night patrol. Mage thought I was ready to tackle the task by myself. Now there's a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. A man died under my watch. Who? I didn't recognize the face. None of the clergy could identify the man. Even if we knew who it was, his body was grotesquely swollen. His features were too bloated to tell. Besides, bees were feasting on his flesh when the body was found. It isn't a pretty sight. Lord Azura himself would have explained the details. He has asked for a Mage's private presence. Understood. Wait, Mage, let me go with you. I must speak to Lord Azura about this incident. I want to know what happened. No, Survey. Wait here. You are not yet Guardian. I am still the Guardian pro tempore. But you still have preparations left for tonight's ceremony. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. Despite Mage's words, anxiety creeps in. I'm starting to doubt my memory of yesterday's patrol. Meanwhile, Avian, please keep Survey company. If I'm not back by midday, accompany her to the ceremonial halls. As you wish. Mage leaves the room. His footsteps echo down the hall until there's nothing but quiet. Evion is the first to break the silence. It was one of the altar boys who found the body. He clicks his tongue, loud enough for me to hear. What a simpleton. He just couldn't keep his wretched mouth shut. He knows today is induction day. Why couldn't he wait until everything was over? But now, everyone, all of Hydrage, will learn of the body. Hydrage or Hydrage? Why shouldn't they? Evion simply looks at me, his brow furrowed tightly together. You can't be serious. A dead man was found, Evion. The village, Hydrage, deserves to know. There was a potential murder, and you want secrecy? That is not the right thing to do. Survey, the village of Hydrage is superstitious. The discovery of a corpse is a bad omen. It will be held against you. That doesn't matter. This was caused by my negligence. It was my duty as guardian. But it does matter. Under Mage, there has been nothing but peace. And all of a sudden, a dead man washes ashore on the day of the guardian heir's induction. I don't want... He suddenly stops, looking away to exhale a harsh breath of air. And I notice the bags under his eyes, cracked lips, bloodied by impulsive biting. You're looking out for me. Look, the important thing is... Survey, you will become guardian, and I'll make sure it happens. Evion wipes his forehead with the back of his hands, clearly annoyed. I know Mage will take care of everything. He's your teacher and godfather. He won't let any harm come to you. And that ends it. We could talk about this later when... Survey! Congratulations! And out of the blue, another guest appears. The door slams open so forcefully that I'm concerned it may have fallen off its hinges. Celsi? Celsi, slightly taller than I am. Seems like a giant when she jumps towards us. Face beaming with excitement, Celsi embraces me in a squeezing hug. Oh, look at you. Little Sabe, all grown up. Celsi is so proud of you. In the den of confusion, all I can do is laugh. It feels like spring has bounced into the room, Celsi's body warm as the sun. Really, Celsi? No need to break down the door. How many times must I remind you? Knock first, then enter. Nalia, don't be so stuck up. I wanted to see Save. Happy birthday, Save. Celsi sticks out her tongue and blows a few raspberries at Nalia. Her face is so close that I can feel her breath. Celsi's whole body radiates joy. I wouldn't be surprised if she suddenly sprouted a tail and started wagging it with incredible speed. I squeeze her back, and Celsi lets go with a grin. Nalia collects her straying companion. I almost expect to see a leash when Celsi returns to Nalia's side. Happy birthday, Save. Is it too early for celebrations? Perhaps a little. There's still the vote. Oh, the vote. That's just a formality. Mage's words. No guardian has ever failed to vote. Nalia waves her hand dismissively. Her posture is straight as a nail, chest puffed out with pride. Well, it's still a procedure, isn't it? They need some way to weed out unqualified guardians. You can't rely on bloodline alone. What is that supposed to mean? Celsi slaps my back teasingly. Relax, I'm not talking about Save. She'll be a wonderful guardian. That aside, Mage and Evion already make up 2 votes. Let's see. You have to have the majority vote to pass, right? How many people vote again? 1, 2, 3 votes. The triumvirate is composed of the Guardian, Priest, and Lord of Hydrage. That's Mage, Evion, and Lord Azura. Of the 3, Save needs 2 votes to approve her induction. Well then, Save has it covered. There's no way Mage or Evion will vote against her. That means Lord Azura's vote won't matter. Celsi does a little twirl and strikes a pose. Celsi, don't test my patience. Pretense or not, it is part of the ceremony. Don't be sacrilegious. Don't be so sensitive. It's no big deal. No big deal? These past 5 years, you don't know how hard I've worked to become head priest. As if I was going to risk a gamble. As if I was going to have some idiot from the monastery cast the wrong vote. Yeah, we've heard this story 1,000 times. Your hard work has been duly noted. What a good boy. Don't be so condescending. Oh, is this embarrassment what I sense? I thought you liked attention. Why, you little... Avian tenses like a spring, and I place a hand on his shoulder. I've seen enough of their bickering to know it's best to intervene before things get out of hand. But Celsi takes a step forward, showing no intention of backing down. Calm down, Father. Save your outbursts for the sermons. I'm sure you'll need it to wake the sleeping parishioners. Not that anyone would care to listen to made-up stories about a made-up god. You godless animal. Celsi, stop mocking him. Think before you speak. Avian is a priest. You know how much the religion means to him. Nalia lets out a sigh. And Avian, please don't resort to name-calling. Celsi and I are the same. Neither of us belong to the religion. Is that how you think of me as well? Miss Nalia, I would never speak a word against you. You know what? I'm sorry I offended you. Hey, where's my apology? Don't push your luck. Celsi, come over here. Apologize to Avian. I'm sorry. Nalia pats Celsi on the arm, probably because she can't reach the top of Celsi's head. And Celsi whines, seemingly with enough decency to appear ashamed. Their interaction reminds me of a naughty kitten and her overbearing guardian. I'm exhausted. But Naya, you haven't done anything. I'll make some tea. Sounds great. I'd like some warm milk. This is for Miss Nalia. You're on your own. Still, when the water boils and the smell of lavender wafts through the room, a cup of milk is brought to the table. Only a few minutes pass before a messenger arrives with news. Lord Azura wishes to speak with me. For a fleeting moment, I had forgotten about the incident. You mean someone dying? But it's inevitable. I have to deal with the consequences. You were in the middle of your thing! Also, I was eager to speak to Lord Azura earlier. There's a sense of dread that creeps into my skin. Survey, you look pale. Is everything okay? She's going to be fine. Lord Azura won't keep her long. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm needed at the Great Hall. Sorry I won't stay for tea. See you guys soon. See you at the ceremony. The village lord awaits in the ceremonial hall, face grim and stoic, his hard eyes betraying nothing but stiffness and formality. Instinctively, I clench my jaw tight, too familiar with Lord Azura's scornful chatter. Instead, I bow with all the grace I can manage. Mage is still present in the hall, fidgeting next to Lord Azura. His face lightens at my entrance. Survey! Lord Azura and I had a long discussion about the distressing incident. Just horrible, especially so on induction day. No need for idle talk, Mage. I no longer require your services. You may leave. Today is a busy day, and I cannot afford to waste time on fringe matters. Lord Azura's voice is low and commanding, fit for a leader who aims to strike fear, not love. His temperament is a striking contrast to Mage's penchant for flamboyance. My two godfathers, both inside and outside, could not be more different. Well then, my lord, please, do not forget. We are done. As Mage leaves, he tries to flash a reassuring smile, but only manages an awkward grimace instead. Once the door closes unceremoniously, Lord Azura turns to face me. Godchild, I would have preferred to see more of your grandmother in you, but the day has come. I remain silent, trying my best to hold my tongue. Mage deludes you, fills your head with incessant chatter. But as flippant as that man is, Mage is powerful, I admit. That is why I keep him close, use him to the best of my abilities. But what can you offer? Your magic pales in comparison to Mage's, let alone your grandmother's. Yesterday was your first night watch, and a man has died. Lord Azura. His eyes pierce into mine, cold and accusing. Please, Lord Azura, I only want to do right. That's your single redeeming quality, your perseverance. But I cannot, in good conscience, leave this village in your hands. I will vote against you in tonight's ceremony. Something inside me cracks. Lord Azura, you were there since the beginning. You know that I've tried my best. If this is your best, then quit. With mediocrity, you will only endanger this village. This is not a position to be taken lightly. The aftermath of the war still looms at large. Clans are at the height of their power. As Guardian, you will be responsible for protecting this village for decades. This dead man we found likely is the result of a clan's struggle for power. Go look at the corpse. Will you be able to tell me information of use? He jabs a finger at the stage. There's a thin white sheet covering what I can only assume to be the unfortunate man's decomposing body. Lord Azura grabs the back of my neck roughly, forcing me to turn and walk towards the corpse. Mage was able to tell me the man's identity, cause and time of death, and the rough identity of the killer. He also performed a binding spell to preserve the body. But what can you make out of this body? Tell me. He takes off the cover without fanfare, exposing a bloated, naked lump of spoiled and half-devoured human meat. There is no smell, likely from Mage's magic. The sight is overwhelmingly shocking and gory. I have to turn and retch away the contents of my stomach. Don't look away, godchild! Do not look away! This is after Mage finished cleaning up the mess. He didn't bat an eye, piecing together the severed body. This type of clansman attack is not out of the ordinary. Clans are worse than the beast. You will see worse sights. Lord Azura. I'm half panting, retching, slivers of bile trailing out of my mouth. The initial shock has somewhat dissipated. I'm still struggling to catch my breath. Sauvé, you are too soft, too kind, too weak. Years ago, things were different. Clans were only guilds, brothers in arms, alchemists, and apothecaries. But now, we are in turbulent times. The meaning of clans has deteriorated. They become criminals. Clans plunder and pillage, wreaking havoc with the pretense of justice. You cannot remain a child of summer. Mage has concluded that this was the work of the clan of Lysion. The victim's body carries Lysion's signature mutilations, judging by the victim's uniform and the golden trinkets he carried. The victim was a soldier from the capital, likely carrying gifts from the king. If the king's soldier could not survive an attack by clansmen, how can a mere 18-year-old be expected to protect the village? Change must come, but not now. We need Mage. We need stability. Although he isn't a true guardian per se, just a placeholder. Lord Azura replaces the sheet over the dead body, making sure no parts are visible. Once he's done, Lord Azura hands me a handkerchief. His motions are less harsh than usual. Don't worry about the mess. I will ask Mage's protege, Nalia, for her assistance. She knows best how to deal with corpses and bodily fluids. I'm surprised at how gentle his voice sounds. We remain silent for an awkward moment. I feel like a child again, making a mess and disappointing my godfather. And when Lord Azura speaks again, I can feel the fatigue in his voice. Sauvé, before the ceremony tonight, before you make a fool out of yourself, please, forfeit the guardian position. Ain't no way I'm actually gonna do that, right? Chapter 2. The room is empty. The sunlight seeping through the windows feel lukewarm. I heard from Nalia. Although Nalia had my best interest at heart, I hoped she wouldn't tell Mage. What happened between the two of us was nothing but shameful. Lord Azura ordered me to give up the Guardian position. It's not the first time he said something like this. I shouldn't have expected anything different. Lord Azura, he doesn't have anything against you. He just... Mage pauses, as if unsure what sort of comfort to offer. I wonder if he's weighing between his friendship with Lord Azura and loyalty to me. Your grandmother, Celine, was a singularity. It may be why Lord Azura has impossibly high standards. How frustrating. This isn't what I wanted to hear. How long will Celine's legacy haunt me? I may never be half the magician she was. I don't intend to give up the Guardian position. Celine entrusted me with the village. I made a promise to her. I do not think Lord Azura would vote against you. He is not a cruel man. He would never embarrass you in front of the village. Mage puts a hand on my shoulder, as if trying to encourage me. In the unlikely event that I am mistaken, and Lord Azura does vote against you. Lord Azura is one of 3 votes. Avian and I will overturn his decision. Everything will be okay. Trust me. There's a sense of finality in Mage's voice. But there is something else weighing on my mind. What about the corpse? The corpse? Oh, the body found this morning. The image of the dead soldier is still freshly imprinted in my mind. He came to enjoy festivities, sent by the king to witness the induction ceremony. Instead, he was brutally murdered by a clansman. Do not worry. Avian ordered the clergy to keep their lips sealed. No one will speak of the incident, at least until the ceremony is over. It was the work of a clan. There may be danger. Shouldn't we be more cautious? An isolated incident does not demand an immediate solution. We can deal with it tomorrow. Lord Azura agreed to the decision. It doesn't feel right to hide something as important as this. We must set priorities. The induction ceremony is less than an hour away. This is not the time to incite fear. Maybe I'm being paranoid. Maybe Mage is right. He is much smarter than I am. Let us... Sounds of explosion echo off in the distance. Screams scatter like leaves in the wind. I'm lying flat on my stomach. It takes me a moment to understand what happened. Mage? Mage is on his knees. He looks unhurt, but his eyes are wild. Are you injured? No, I'm okay. That didn't feel like an earthquake. No, it was not an earthquake. This is magic. Magic? Is this a work of clansmen? Perhaps, but I know this magic. Survey, stay here. Several unlikely scenarios ran through my head. Magic users are far and few between. If a magician is attacking Hydrage, that narrows down the list of suspects. I don't have time to think about that. There is real danger. I remember Lord Azura's words. As Guardian, you will be responsible for protecting this village for decades. But I cannot, in good conscience, leave this village in your hands. Well, you better get on your feet and freaking help then. I don't know what's going on. It's my duty as Guardian to protect the village. My legs are shaking, but I manage to push myself off the ground. As I turn towards the door, Mage suddenly grabs my arm. Wait! There's a hint of desperation in his voice. You are not Guardian yet. You have not gone through the ceremony. You do not have... Mage, I can't think about the things that I don't have. I will never be Celine. But that doesn't mean I should stand around while Hydrage, my village, is destroyed. That's not what I meant. Let us divide and conquer. You may have noticed, but the spellcaster is distances away. His magic comes from the opposite direction of the Great Hall. I've noticed, even with my mediocre powers, I can sense the source of magic, How much training did she even get? Something powerful emanates from the outskirts of the village to attack innocent people while hiding from afar. The spellcaster is a coward, someone who cannot bear the consequences of his actions. Regardless, this magic is formidable. Do not needlessly face danger. As the guardian, you must prioritize the villagers' safety. The villagers are gathered in the Great Hall for the ceremony. Will you evacuate the villagers? I will apprehend the attacker. Do you understand? I'm pretty sure this is the part where I lose one of my votes. Mage doesn't want me to fight the enemy. He's asking me to focus on the villagers. What should I do? Oh no, wait, I should save. I should definitely save here. Oh my god, why is this so pretty? Mage is right, we will, I trust Mage. Mage is right. I must protect the villagers. You're right. I'll make sure nobody gets hurt. I made a wise choice. I will apprehend the perpetrator. Do not come for me unless I call for you. Do you understand? Yes. Please be careful, Mage. You as well. There's a tug of apprehension in my heart, but it's best to let him go. Mage is strong. He alone is worth 100 men. It's eerily silent when I reach the great hall. A suffocating feeling of dread creeps up my back. Maybe everyone evacuated. Maybe no one is hurt. But that's foolish thinking. Oh! The hall is destroyed! Under the rubble are bodies, pale and unmoving, swallowed by pools of blood. Instinctively, I avert my eyes, unable to stomach the grotesque view. At least this time, I stop myself from throwing up. This can't be. But I compose myself. Try to compose myself. I have a feeling that Lord Azura has something to do with this. Just a nagging feeling at the back of my head, Think of Lord Azura. What would he say? Or Mage. It's one of the two. Survey, you are too soft, too kind, too weak. You cannot remain a child of summer. I'm not soft, not kind. I'm not weak. I'm pretty sure softness and kindness are not weaknesses. I know what to do. I know what to say. I am here, your guardian of Hydrage. Those who can hear me. But my voice falters. My words will reach no one. Survey! Thank God you're safe. Or him! Or him! Like, it could be Avian. Her Radiance's protection is with you. Avian signs a cross over his chest. He looks unscathed. You're okay. Where's Lord Azura? Lord Azura and I were here, preparing for the ceremony. He asked me to fetch something from his room, so I left. I ran back as soon as I heard the explosions. Nalia and Celsi? I don't know. They were still here when I left. There were other villagers outside, running away. Miss Nalia, she... Avian's voice cracks. He tries to speak, but nothing comes out of his mouth. I didn't see Nalia or Celsi among the bodies, but I hadn't looked closely. I think they're okay. They have to be okay. We have to track down the villagers and make sure no one else gets hurt. The explosions were caused by magic. Mage is hunting down the magician behind this. The magician is attacking Hydrage. That can't be right. Everyone knows that Hydrage is under Mage's protection. What kind of fool would challenge Mage? We don't know if the attacker is alone. They may have an army. Can you protect yourself? Yes, I brought something with me. Oh my god! Wait! What do you mean he's packing heat? What do you mean? Where did you find a gun? It belonged to my brother. When he passed, the military allowed us to keep his revolver. I know no one outside the military can own firearms. But Lord Azura pulled many strings. He wanted to keep his son's memento. Never thought about using it, but it was just there, in Father's room. Do you know how to use it? My brother taught me when I was younger. He thought I was going to join him, serve in the military. That was a long time ago. Anyway, what's your plan? Avian's voice is without emotion. It's as if he's trying to keep cool under pressure. But his trembling hands give him away. Avian grasps the handle of the revolver tightly, likely in an attempt to stay still. There's a hidden basement under the Great Hall. Mage and I have been taking care of this safe room for the past few years. We need to shelter the villagers and treat the wounded. Avian nods. He turns the revolver in his hands, eyes on the trigger. I doubt that he will need to use the gun. I will protect him. Let's go. Who gave the priest a gun? Who? We never use Avian's gun. It's been hours since the attack. Avian and I remain in the Great Hall, trying to salvage anything and anyone that we can find. There are still people missing. Some of these buildings will take months, no, years to rebuild. I stay silent, head full of questions and doubt. Although Hydrage was devastated, nothing was stolen from the village. Who is the attacker? Why did they come to Hydrage? I should have taken the dead soldier as a sign. We should have postponed the ceremony to search for suspicious activity. This disaster could have been prevented. What's done cannot be undone. I found more villagers. They were shaken but unhurt. Thankfully, Nalia and Celsi remained unscathed. Hours after the explosion, Avian and I found them distances away from the Great Hall. As soon as we spotted each other, Celsi broke down into a sobbing mess, while Nalia hugged us wordlessly. You should have let us come with you. No, you and Survey had work to do here. Nalia had volunteered to survey the outskirts for survivors. Avian and I stayed behind to calm frightened villagers and perform first aid. How's Celsi? She's asleep. Today's events took a toll on her. About today. Nalia hesitates as if unsure of what to say. It was thanks to Celsi that both of us avoided the worst. Thanks to Celsi? What do you mean? Right before the ceremony was supposed to start, Celsi knew something was off. She started screaming, insisting that everyone leave the Great Hall. But no one listened to her. The ceremony was going to start any moment. What? When did this happen? This was after you left the Great Hall. Remember? Lord Azura asked you to fetch something for him. Celsi was terrified, overwhelmed. Others thought it was a joke or nerves. But I could tell something was wrong, so I took her outside, far away from the Great Hall. I figured we'd just apologize to you later, Survey. I thought for sure we were going to miss the ceremony. Only a few minutes had passed when we started to hear explosions. But then, Celsi was overcome with terror. I couldn't force her to move. We hurried back once the explosions died down. That was when we ran into the two of you. I'm just glad the two of you are safe. It must have been pure animal instinct. There's no other way to explain it. I have no idea what to think of this new information. How was Celsi able to predict the attack when no one else could? Well, let me check on Celsi. I don't want her to be alone when she wakes up. Let me know when Mage comes back. And he never does. Nalia heads downstairs, leaving Avian and me behind. It doesn't take long for Mage to return. Oh, he actually comes back! Is he injured? Mage, you're safe! What happened? Who was behind the explosion? You captured the enemy, right? It was the clan of Lysian. Or more accurately, it was this clan leader, Lysian. Lysian. Lord Azura mentioned that name earlier. According to Lord Azura, the dead body found this morning had Lysian's signature mutilations, which means the clan of Lysian was probably responsible for last night's murder. A clansman attacked Hydrage. It's difficult to imagine clansmen inside Hydrage. Mage is one of the most powerful magicians in this world. Only a fool would attack a village under Mage's protection. Lysian had left Hydrage. He won't be back. Curiously, Mage bears no signs of battle, free of blood or bruise. You let him leave? You couldn't capture him. Bring him to justice? He's the one responsible for everything. The villagers! He was not a force to be reckoned with. Not a force to be reckoned with. You're ridiculous. Look at yourself. Did you even try to fight him? All is behind us. There's nothing that can be done. All is behind us? Avian's face burns crimson. His features contort with suppressed anger. Avian, it's not that I don't share your sentiment, but we need answers. Let's calm down and listen to Mage's story. I too hold doubt over Mage's actions. I want to deal with the events that happened instead of pointing blame. Forgive me. Mage, as always, tries to avoid conflict. Apologizing and taking blame seems almost second nature to him. But as if Mage's apology serves as a trigger, Avian snaps. In a flash, Avian strikes out and seizes Mage by the throat. Say that again, coward! Tell that to the villagers who lost everything! Tell them that the almighty Mage wouldn't kill that scum! Avian, stop this! Hitting Mage won't solve anything! I grab Avian, trying to break the two men apart. Get out of my way, Survey! Avian shoves me aside and tightens his grip around Mage's throat. Mage isn't resisting or saying anything, which makes it worse. Avian, you're not thinking clearly. I'm perfectly aware of what I'm doing. What was Mage thinking when he let Lysian go? Put your hand out. Don't do anything you'll regret. What would Nalia say if she saw you like this? There's a tense moment of uncertainty, but Avian eventually releases his grip. Mage, please explain to us what happened between you and Lysian. Survey, you and I must speak in private. The information that I will share is confidential. Is this a joke? Only Survey is allowed to hear your story. I am the head priest of Hydrage. I deserve to know what happened. I lean towards Avian and lower my voice to a whisper. Whatever information Mage shares with me, I promise to share it with you. I know that Mage must have his reasons. I trust his judgment. Fine. You better keep your promise. I try to give a reassuring nod to Avian before I'm following Mage outside. Mage brings me to his study. He doesn't seem to be in a hurry to talk. He pulls out a thick tome from his bookcase, flipping through the worn pages. It's a children's storybook, one of many hand-me-downs from Celine. I haven't touched it since she passed away. What does a children's book have to do with Lysian? Celine and I grew up reading the same stories. He hands me the open book, finger placed above painted letters. One of our favorites was the story about the elemental stones, the four treasures of the world, filled with incomparable power. Mage urges me to read. Eyes pass over the familiar words. Once upon a time, in a small, quaint village fair, lived a widow and her son, with love beyond compare. So poor they were, they had each other to cherish. The love kept them warm when winter winds did perish. But one day, the mother fell ill, growing weak and frail. Her son did all he could, but nothing seemed to avail. So he set out on a journey, scoured land and sea, in search of a cure, a magical remedy. And finally, he stumbled upon a legend so rare, the four stones, gems that could grant a wish so fair. Overjoyed, the son clasped his hands in prayer and plea, ready to save his mother with the wish he was granted be. But temptation crept in, like a thief in the night, as greed took over, blinding the son's sight. He wished for riches and fame instead of healing his mother's pain. The widow died, waiting for a son who never returned again. It's a cautionary tale about human greed, a morbid story. Fairy tales can have their dark sides, but these stories start somewhere. Someone created them with a purpose. What do you mean? Each Guardian village has its own stone. Our village, Hydrage, carries the Water Stone. These stones were passed down from the original Guardians, granting power and immortality to the user. Power and immortality? But Hydrage had many Guardians. The first Guardians are long gone in Selene. I falter. My grandmother's death is a heavy subject for Mage. As cousins close in age, they grew up as friends and rivals. To Selene, Mage had promised eternal loyalty. Stone grants its powers to only one owner at a time. Death is a natural part of life. The Guardians, including her grandmother, knew to let go. Selene relinquished the Waterstone out of her own free will. She entrusted the future to you, Seve. How could Selene make such a heavy decision? I was just a child when she passed away. Wasn't she afraid of making the wrong choice? What if she passed the torch to someone unworthy? As you may have guessed, the elemental stones have always been a source of conflict. Even Selene had troubles with the stone. To spare you from the same fate, your grandmother decided to take the stone to her grave. With the stone's power, we could easily reverse today's damages. A feeling of relief washes over me. I can fix my mistakes. There's a chance for a do-over. Something about Mage's expression doesn't seem right. Mage, where is the stone now? When I fought Lysian, the stone was already in his possession. That monster had defiled her grave and pried the stone from her remains. From Selene's remains? The thought of Lysian prying the stone from Selene's cold, decaying hands makes me nauseous. Lord Azura was right. Clansmen will stoop to the lowest depths, stopping at nothing to satisfy their greed. The nagging question lingers in my mind. How did Lysian discover the stone's hiding place? Pardon me. Avian told me that the two of you would be here. Nalia, it's quite all right. If you could not wait, it must be something important. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Lord Azura is dead. His body has been discovered. What the hell? As soon as Nalia delivered her message, Mage and I ran outside, needing to confirm the news ourselves. And we watched Lord Azura's body be taken away, his stiff limbs dangling like those of a puppet, his unfocused eyes staring into the void. Lord Azura is dead. I don't want to believe it. He was here just hours ago. Even though Lord Azura and I had a strained relationship, I believe we could make amends. But now, how are you feeling? I don't know. Are you okay? I could be better. I know Mage is heartbroken. After Selene's death, Lord Azura was his closest friend and confidant. Sometimes I would catch them smoking tobacco together or playing chess in their private quarters late at night. Have you spoken with Avian? Not yet. I didn't get a chance. I'm not sure what to say to him. Mage places his hand on my shoulder, as if trying to tell me that he understands. What happens now? For the time being, his widow, Lady Johanna, will act as regent. He has grandchildren that survive him, but they are too young. Avian's older brother passed away a few years ago, leaving his wife and children behind. Despite the deaths of his brother and father, Avian would never inherit the lordship title. It was destined for the second-born child of his family, just as it was written for Selene's bloodline to become guardian. Nonetheless, there will be no delay in your initiation. The votes were sealed before Lord Azura's death. The ceremony will proceed, even with everything that happened today. Yes, especially with everything that happened today. The village is in the middle of a crisis. Many are dead, more are injured. You must step up as a leader and protector, now more than ever. I understand. It feels daunting. having to leave without the guidance of Lord Azura. But Mage will help me find my way, as he did for my grandmother so long ago. Avian and Nalia should be waiting for you in my study. Please join them after changing into your ceremonial robes. I will be there in half an hour's time. I nod. Mage is right. Although a formality, the ceremony would be a step towards normalcy. Mage, I'm sorry that I wasn't there to protect him. Lord Azura was your grandfather. Lord Azura was your godfather. He swore to protect you, not the other way around. Standing in front of Mage's study, I could hear Avian's voice beyond the closed door. What use is a guardian? What use is magic? How can you call yourself a guardian when you can't even protect your own people? I stopped dead in my tracks, hand hovering above the doorknob. There's a throb in Avian's voice, as if he'd been crying. At the very least, Lord Azura's safety should have been prioritized. Why did Survey? Blood rushes into my ears. My heart pounds so loudly that it drowns out every other sound around me. My fears come together in a mind-numbing affirmation. Avian blames me for Lord Azura's death. I'm not ready for this. Not now. I turn away from the door, too cowardly to face Avian and his grief. And when Mage finds me, rooted to the corridor outside his study, he doesn't ask what happened. When Nalia welcomes us inside, she looks at me with sadness in her eyes. Avian lingers in the back, barely acknowledging our presence. Once we're settled, Mage suggests a private ceremony for a quick transition of power. The festivities will come, but not now. Not when death and sorrow linger on every doorstep. The procedure starts without bravado. Clouds of incense fill the room. The fragrant smell is almost suffocating. Mage burns 3 candles, each light representing a member of the triumvirate: guardian, priest, lord. To the left, Avian stands his ground, his expression unreadable. To the right, Nalia stands as proxy to the village lord, a small figure calling attention to his absence. When Nalia catches my gaze, she responds with a reassuring smile, a gesture of kindness that I could never expect from Lord Azura. A malicious idea makes my way to my head. With Lord Azura gone, there's no one left to oppose me. No pushback. No obstacles in my way. With a mere thought, twists my stomach into knots. What's wrong with me? Why even entertain such an idea? I never wanted to see him dead. The triumvirate gathers today for one purpose: to judge the suitability of our guardian heir. Our heir was called upon to take up this role by her predecessor, but she must prove herself worthy. Rise, guardian heir. Who are you that stands before us? I am Survey, granddaughter of Selene, disciple of Mage, a magician of the 2nd degree. Where does your allegiance lie? My allegiance lies with the village of Hydrage. What do you come to swear? I swear to protect the weak, to pursue justice, and to serve the liege lord in valor and faith. I pledge, fully aware that I've already broken my promises. Nalia steps forward, clutching a sealed wooden box. 3 votes. The guardian, lord, and priest have considered your qualifications. Guardian heir, you swear to accept your fate with finality and repose. I swear. Nalia breaks open the seal. She draws out a single vote. Nay. One of the triumvirate has voted against the guardian heir, Lord Azura's last parting gift. It was expected, but I can't help but feel bitter. Even in death, Lord Azura taunts me with his inconsiderate vitriol. Nalia places the ballot on the table and plunges her hand again in the box. Her every movement is smooth and without waste. At the last moment, she hesitates before reading aloud the second vote. She turns to look at me, and I understand. Wait. Nay. 2 of the triumvirate have voted against the guardian heir. 2 vetoes, a majority vote against me. It doesn't matter when Nalia pulls out the third and final vote, a singular meaningless yes. I stumble away from the building, trying to distance myself from the reality of the situation. My heart pounds as I try to grasp what happened. Surely there must be a mistake. This can't be my payoff. I've spent years preparing for this night. I toiled away under Mage's guidance, persisting through Lord Azura's endless criticism. Everything I've worked for is gone, lost in the blink of an eye. I can't imagine Mage, my godfather, turning against me. Since the beginning, Mage has been my greatest supporter and ally. But maybe today's disaster gave him second thoughts. Was he afraid that Lycian will come back to hurt me? I can't see Avian, my oldest friend, betraying my trust. Just this morning, Avian was furious at the mere idea of my failure. But maybe Lord Azura's death turned his allegiance. Was he resentful that I couldn't save his father? Either way, the betrayal pains me. Alone, I stagger along the winding path, my legs carrying me to the edge of the village. The fields are quiet, with no one to interrupt my thoughts. The unknown stretches before me, like a vast, unnavigable sea. This is the furthest I've been from the village, the lush fields swallowing my footsteps whole. A part of me wants to go, run away and leave everything behind. I know that's foolish thinking. There's no place for me outside of Hydrage. I turned and forced myself to face the village once again. Mage's residence is dark, save for the warm glow of the kitchen. When I enter, I find Nalia seated at the table. Survey, I was about to go looking for you. How are you feeling? Did you want something to eat? The chef left food for us. No, I'm fine. Where's Mage? He's at the mortuary, saying his last goodbyes to Lord Azura. More importantly, you've barely eaten anything today. There's no way you're fine. Being hungry will only make you feel worse. I don't have any appetite, but Nalia hands me a bowl of soup. The seafood bisque is hearty, filled with crab and shrimp. I recognize it as the dish that was prepared for the post-ceremonial feast. The chef sends her regards. I dismissed her for the day so she could spend time with her family. She lost her husband today, but... Survey, you saved her son. He was one of the villagers that you pulled out from the debris. I doubt that he would have made it without your help. The family wanted to thank you for saving his life. And not just them, other villagers came to express their gratitude. I don't deserve it. In the end, so many people died. I didn't do enough. Listen, Survey, there was a terrible catastrophe. But you saved dozens of lives today. You acted well in the face of an unexpected disaster. Regardless of the votes, regardless of everything that happened today, you did your best. I'm proud of you. Maybe someone will say none of that matters, and maybe someone will criticize you for not being perfect. But at the moment, you did everything that you could. That's the most important thing. I realize that she isn't just saying this to make me feel better. Her words sound so genuine. It means so much more than a simple pity. You've been through a lot today. If you need anything, just let me know. I'm here for you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Are you turning in for the night? No, there's something else I have to do tonight. I need to talk to Avian. Nalia looks surprised by my words, but soon nods in agreement. Do you want me to go with you? You should be out on patrol. No, I should talk to Avian alone, even though I'm not sure what I'll say. I at least owe him an apology. His father died under my watch. Avian wants you to be happy. I know he does, even now. So don't be afraid to tell him how you really feel. I thought I might find you here. Avian doesn't turn to look at me, his hand absently running along the remains of the wall. Lycian destroyed everything. I was hoping that at least this place would be spared. This guardhouse seemed like a castle when we were kids. For an instant, something like nostalgia flits across Avian's face. But it disappears so quickly that I wonder if I've imagined it. Remember, we used to sneak in here, pretend to be heroes, protecting the village from clans. Sometimes the two of us would fall asleep here, and your brother would drag us back home. That all came to an end when Avian's brother left for the war. When he finally came back to us, it was a year later, his body wrapped in a shroud. Since then, each passing year seemed to drive a wedge further between me and Avian. Mother was inconsolable when my brother passed. Now father is gone. She's a wreck. I can't imagine the strength it will take for her to pull through this. I'm sorry. What are you apologizing for? It's not your fault. You don't really believe that. My lips twitch, fighting back the words that want to escape. I heard him speak to Dahlia before the ceremony. I know he blames me for Lord Azura's death. But this isn't the time for that. I'm here to make amends. You have every right to blame me. It was my responsibility to protect Lord Azura. I failed him. I failed you. It doesn't matter. Even if you were with him, nothing would have changed. You don't understand. If I'd been there, maybe what? If you had been there, then you would have miraculously saved Lord Azura. Perhaps even better, you'd have stopped Lysian from committing his atrocities. Even Mage couldn't defeat Lysian. Everything's over. We lost. Lord Azura is gone. No point dwelling on what could have been. The way he dismisses my failure hurts. It feels like he's refusing to let me mourn his father with him. Did you vote against me? As soon as the question leaves my lips, guilt turns me nauseous. But the anxiety of not knowing is worse than my fear of the truth. Me? You're accusing me of betraying you. I swore to you 5 years ago that I'd do anything in my power to make you guardian. Then it was Mage. I don't know. To be honest, I thought that you would pass unanimously. Mage is the one who nominated you in the first place. If anything, he's been campaigning on your behalf since day one. Despite everything, Lord Azura would never embarrass you in front of the village. He even had a gift ready for your inauguration. You can check his room later if you want. Avian, someone had to vote against me. 2 people voted against me. Then someone must have tampered with the ballots. It was chaos after the explosion. People were moving about everywhere. That's a tall accusation. Have you any evidence to back your claims? We don't need evidence, Survey. Our word is law. The votes can be annulled. Who would challenge our claim? We can hold a new vote when the official ceremony comes around. Do you even hear yourself? You want me to commit treason? Treason? What do you think will happen if all of a sudden we lost you, our only guardian heir? Hydrage is in shambles and needs your power. The village must be rebuilt. Lady Johanna has taken over as Regent Lord. She'll participate in the official ceremony. She doesn't want to go against the wishes of a late husband, but I'll convince her. I don't know what to feel. A desire to follow the right path. That was the only thing Lord Azura liked about me. My desire to do good. Becoming a guardian has been my only lifeline. Without that, I'm nothing. Avian, I don't want to step down. I can't hide under falsehood and deceit. If we pretend that the first vote never happened, I will be starting my time as a guardian with a lie. When the truth comes out, I might lose the trust of everyone in the village. Your holier-than-thou attitude is a liability right now, Survey. Make concessions, abandon your shallow honor, take up the mantle. What's more important to you, your fragile ego or the future of the village? Avian's tone is scathing, purposely designed to provoke a fight, but his words hammer the truth into my heart. If the choice was between my dignity and the well-being of our people, I have no trouble choosing the latter. The votes were private. As long as Mage, Avian, and Nalia kept silent, we can move on without anyone knowing the truth. It's an imperfect plan. I know there's no guarantee Mage and Nalia will turn a blind eye. Nevertheless, what can I do? What other choice do I have? Avian offers me a hand, as if binding us together in an unspoken oath. It's as if we were little kids again. I swear to protect the village. I'll do what needs to be done. I feel disgusted with myself for even considering this option. My decision is made out of necessity. This is for my village. This is for my people. Just promise me you won't betray me. Never breathe a word of tonight, of any of this. You have my word. I swear on my father's name. It's so easy to reach out and take his hand. I can't stop doubting myself. Chapter 4. I toss and turn at night, unable to fall asleep. Every time I try to plunge into slumber, Lord Azura's ghost drags me back to the surface. The sun has yet to rise when I kick off the covers, conceding defeat. I head outside, throwing on a jacket to brace myself against the chilly night air. Avian mentioned that Lord Azura left a gift for me. I should take a look. His room is the same as I remember. Lord Azura's presence lingers like a dark cloud. Even now, I can imagine him sitting on his ornate chair, his eyes hardened with disapproval. You should have forfeited the guardian position. None of this would have happened if you had listened to me. How do you expect to keep your little secret? A slip of the tongue, and the whole village will learn of your treachery and inadequacy. My priority is the village's safety. I'll do anything to protect Hydrage. I don't need your permission anymore. When I was younger, I tried my best to win Lord Azura over, desperate for his approval. But no matter how hard I tried, I never seemed to be good enough for him. I was driven to seek his love and attention, and now that longing has been replaced by something else. I wonder if this is what resentment feels like. Awake with a start, my mind racing with remnants of a forgotten dream. It takes me a moment to remember where I am. I had fallen asleep in Lord Azura's chair. Morning, sweetheart. A woman whom I've never seen before stands before me, her green eyes glittering like ice. There's an imperceptible accent under her silky voice. I can't quite put a finger on the origin. Good morning. Pardon me, I don't think we've met before. My name is Illyria. I came on business matters, but I didn't expect someone to be here. What would the lady of the house say if she saw you collapse in her late husband's bedchamber? My face heats with embarrassment. I rise quickly, straightening the chair back to its original place. Miss Illyria, please, forgive me for my manners. Did Lady Johanna send you here? No, my employer asked me to collect an artifact. He's a troublesome man. Even though I had offered to make the trip for him, he insisted on leaving me behind. And just as I expected, he ended up leaving his work half finished. I shouldn't have let him go alone. Had I come here in his stead, there wouldn't have been a need for a second visit. A second visit? There's only been one visitor in the past day. I rushed towards the bedroom door and yanked the handle, a sense of dread gnawing at my mind. But there's nothing. Whatever I'm looking for, the quiet hallway shows me nothing. Surprising that such an unremarkable face houses a quick-witted mind. Though, I suppose there's always an exception to the rule. My body reacts before my mind even registers what's happening, as if some primal part of me knows to take cover. I leap backward as a glint of steel flashes through the air. The knife misses my cheek by a hair's breadth. Not bad. Not bad at all. What a pleasant surprise. I'll have fun playing with you. All pretense of courtesy gone, Illyria sneers at me like a predator staring at its prey. Lysian sent you here. It's not a question, but a statement. Her arrival this soon after Lysian's attack can't be a coincidence. That's right, darling. I'm Illyria, underboss of the clan of Lysian. My sentimental leader has forbidden me to kill, but this can be our little secret. After all, dead men tell no tales. Like lightning, Illyria jumps towards me, aiming her dagger straight. But the moment she takes a step forward, I summon a shield of water to block her attack. This time I'm ready to counter. What do we have here? A little magician? You must be the dearest Save, the poor guardian heir. Illyria lets out a shrill laugh, her expression contorted into something carnal. I heard that Celine picked you personally. Let's see what makes you special. In a flash, Illyria strikes me with her blade, inflicting shallow wounds through my defenses. Despite her swagger, Illyria's footsteps are silent and precise. She makes the least movement necessary for her attacks. She's quick. Without my magic, I would have stood no chance against her. But with every passing second, the scale tips towards Illyria. Every cut she makes, every drop of blood she draws, seems to fuel her strength. It's as though she's accustomed to a magician's battle. I slide across the room, narrowly avoiding Illyria's relentless attacks. But trying to dodge a dangerous rush of blows, I collide with Lord Azura's nightstand, sending it crashing to the floor. As the drawers spill open, a single keepsake box tumbles out and scatters across the room. Impulse taking a hold of me, I reach for the debris and scoop up the small box. Unexpectedly, the instant my hand wraps around it, I feel a surge of power flowing through my fingertips. Wretched witch! So that's where... Illyria lunges forward, her knuckles white as she grasps her blade. But she's too slow. With a flick of my wrist, I summon a surge of water, slamming into Illyria with the force of a raging storm. The flood of water erupts into the room, drenching everything in its path. I take a few steps back, stunned by the sight before me. I've never cast a spell this large and powerful before. That senile old man, who would have thought he'd leave it right here, plain for the taking? So be it. I know better than to challenge an heir in possession of the stone. I'll have to take my leave for today, but I'm sure we'll meet again, dear. We'll have more fun next time, Save. Wait! Stay right where you are! But she's already gone. Escaped through the windows. You could just cast another spell! Hello? It's time to clean the flooded room. Bit by bit, I use my own magic to siphon water from every crook and cranny. I turn over the mysterious box, fingers twitching in desire to grab and make use of that unknown power. But on further inspection, the box is secured with a lock. I could tear the seal with magic, but it leaves a bad taste in my mouth to destroy something that belonged to Lord Azura. I'm on my knees, scanning the floor, hoping to find a lost key when I hear the door open behind me. Save, what are you doing here? What happened to the room? Mage looks around the bedroom, eyes wide in shock, catching sight of the wet carpet and marks of strife from Illyria's assault. His gaze locks on the small box. In an instant, his body tenses up and stiffens. Mage, I can explain. Without warning, Mage marches over and wrests the box open. The hinges and locks break easily, splitting the ornate box into two. His expression is feverish as he gapes at the contents inside, a half piece of the gemstone. This can't be— I knew you had something to do with this! I thought he'd— Mage caresses the broken stone. Its jagged surface is sharp enough to cut his hand. A thin trickle of blood runs down his wrist, but he doesn't seem to care as he stares, mesmerized. Mage, your hand! I reach for Mage's wrist, tried to shake him out of his fervor. No! This is mine! For an instant, a flash of pure malice passes through Mage's eyes, and I'm truly afraid. He clutches the stone tightly, As if triggered by a burst of pain, Mage drops it immediately, gasping in agony. I'm sorry. I should leave. I'm not fit to stay here. What's happening, Mage? Is this broken gem part of Waterstone? Using a handkerchief as a barrier, I gingerly pick up the stone from the floor. Through the fabric, I feel an aura, a hum of familiar power. It feels like I'm holding the entire ocean in my hands, its depths unknowable to the beholder. Yes, I thought Celine destroyed it years ago. I was unaware that Lord Azura kept on to it all these years. What about the stone that Lycian stole from us? I've mentioned in passing, but Celine had trouble with the Waterstone. The solution was to split the stone in half and limit its power. The stone that Lycian took was the half that Celine kept for herself. This piece here was mine to command, at least while Celine was alive. Avian said that Lord Azura left behind a gift for me. Could this be it? Perhaps, but the Waterstone was not his to give away. It belongs to Hydrage, or more specifically, to the Guardian. Then it must be mine. Maybe it's just a feeling, but the stone seems to flutter in my palm, as if nodding in agreement. Mage stays silent for a moment, as if trying to come up with the right words to say. You already drew power from the stone, didn't you? His voice sounds so accusatory that I can't help but feel defensive. That was a trespasser, Mage. I was looking for the stone, Lord Azura's gift, and the woman, Illyria. She was Lycian's underling. He realized that he had left behind half of the stone and sent her to retrieve it in his stead. I had to fight her off. I had to. And the realization hit me. Lycian's going to come back, isn't he? He won't stop until he has both halves of the stone. This time he may bring an army. What are you waiting for? We have to defend our walls. Rally the sentries. Survey, it takes time to move a group of men. Lycian will likely not return today. I will relay our concerns to Lady Johanna. This information may change our plans. Change in what plans? I announced my resignation this morning. I am no longer Guardian pro tempore. My head jerks up, eyes wide in shock. This is a possibility that I hadn't even considered. Someone has to take responsibility for yesterday's fiasco. I failed to stop Lycian from taking the Waterstone. Now he may return for the other half. Mage, you would go to such lengths for me? I beg your pardon? I'm afraid I do not understand. Mage, you and I are the only magicians of Hydrage. No one else could possibly take over as Guardian. If you step down as Guardian pro tempore, that means I must become the next Guardian. I must apologize if I gave you a false notion. It's okay. No one else knows about yesterday's votes, right? This way we can keep everything a secret. Survey, everyone knows about the vote. Yes, we held a closed ceremony. However, the villagers were aware of its happening yesterday. The villagers saw you running out of the ceremony in tears. You did not return to your room until well past midnight. People put two and two together easily. All warmth drains from my face. Then why? What's going to happen? Who else can protect the village? Lady Johanna invited an external candidate from the capital. This morning, she asked me for a list of recommendations. I taught at the capital for years, after all. No! How can an outsider care for the village? If they've never stepped a foot inside Hydrage, how can they put the good of the village above them? You have to stop Lady Johanna. You can't let this happen. I pleaded with Lady Johanna, but refused to accept it. I'm not going to be replaced. I can't be replaced. Celine entrusted me with Hydrage. Her legacy can't end like this. At this moment, I do not have a solution. My hands clenched around the jagged stone. I can feel my pulse quicken against its cool surface. You're a coward, Mage. I turn on my heels and stride out of the door. I don't want to stay here any longer. Not with Mage. Wait, Survey! The Waterstone! Should I hand over the stone as well, so you can thrust it into the hands of some stranger? Or do you plan to wrench it out of my hands and use the stone yourself? No, Survey, I would not. I saw your eyes, my dude. Like, Those were not the eyes of someone innocent. Why did Lord Azura keep the stone a secret from you? Why did he gift it to me and not you? Just let me go. I need space to think. Alone. Survey, please. I leave, not bothering to wait for Mage's answer. I make my way out of Lord Azura's manor, back into the courtyard, and to the village's outskirts. Hasty ideas bubble to the surface of my mind, each one worse than the other before. I don't know how much time has passed when a whistle interrupts my train of thought. He'll see you, Survey. It's Celsi, waving her arms as she runs to greet me. I've not seen you since Chapter 2. Her glee seems foreign, a jarring contrast from her state of panic yesterday. Celsi, are you feeling better? Oh yes, I'm perfectly fine. I don't know what came over me last night. Ellie had mentioned that Celsi seemed possessed, fearful of something unknown, moments before Lysian's attack. It was as if she knew something terrible was going to happen. But just before I was about to ask her about the incident, something else catches my eye. A horse, one of Nalia's best, grazes at a near distance. The steed carries loads on its back as if preparing for a long journey. What's with the luggage? Oh, about that. You see, I'm leaving the village. Permanently. Leaving the village? Yeah, Nalia has been good to me, but my time in her service has come to an end. It's been 2 years since I came to Hydrage. It's time for me to move on. What? This is sudden. Are you really feeling alright? Uh-huh. I'm a bird of passage. Here today, gone tomorrow, you know? Never stayed anywhere too long. There were perks, being a stable girl. Nalia promised to let me have any horse I wanted if I ever left. So here I am with my trusty steed. 2 years ago, when Celsi first walked through the gates of Hydrage, I believed she came to stay. She never gave me the impression of wanting to leave. Where will you go? Wherever the winds take me. I don't have plans yet. Does Nalia know about this? Well, I left her a note. It's easier this way. I didn't want to make a scene. You can't leave like this, going away without a goodbye. Ah, don't be like that. At least I got to see you before I left. Congratulations on your new Guardian promotion, by the way. Must be so excited. Hope you do well. Celsi, Celsi, you fool! Turning, I see Nalia galloping towards us, riding a familiar mare. It's Willow, my horse, the only one that couldn't match the speed of the horse that Celsi took. Red-faced, Nalia climbs down, clutching a crumpled letter with trembling hands. Nalia, you read my note. That was an awful thing to do, Celsi. I have a right to say goodbye. Properly. I'm sorry, it's just... I felt it would have been too hard if I tried to say it in person. I forgive you. But please, can't you stay a little longer? With all the strange happenings, we need someone trustworthy and loyal around. Well, I'm not so loyal, am I, if I decide to run off without a word? Nalia sighs, smoothing her hair as she catches her breath. It's not just for my sake. Sylvain needs all the support she can get. She failed the induction ceremony. Nalia's soft words could have easily been an explosive outburst. The rush of humiliation is worse than anything I've experienced in the past. Why did she have to blurt it out like that? Sylvain, this is true. You failed the Guardian ceremony. I'm upset at Nalia for telling Celsi, but I can't bring myself to lie. Yeah, it's true. Then why didn't you tell me? This changes everything. Why would it have changed? You would have stuck around, pitying my failure? No, I would have asked you to come with me. We can leave Hydrage together. Join me on my travels, Salve, wherever the roads may take us. Celsi is beaming at me, her expression genuine. Don't joke around, Celsi. Survey isn't going anywhere. I'm serious. Look, if Survey isn't the guardian heir anymore, she has no responsibility to the village. She's free to do whatever she wants. Perfect timing, actually. Come on, Survey. Let's go. Celsi turns and whistles, urging the horse to come to her. She counts on her fingers as if gauging whether there are enough supplies for two. Nothing's final. Survey wasn't announced. Survey wasn't renounced from a position yet. The village needs Survey, guardian or not. Dahlia, there's no point in beating a dead horse. Why would she stay with a village that rejected her? There are plenty of opportunities out there, places that would appreciate Survey for who she is. Magicians are a rare commodity after all. Survey has a responsibility to the village. Mage needs her. Avian needs her. Lord Azura left this village in Survey's hands. Really? Well, they should have voted for her when they had the chance. Celsi speaks as though it's obvious what needs to be done, as if it's only natural to leave Hydrage behind. But there will be consequences. If I turn away from the village at its most vulnerable time, I would truly be severing my ties. Hydrage will be on its last legs, with Mage as the only defender if Lycian returns. Oh no! Why is this a choice? Why? Oh golly, I gotta make a save. Like, screw this. I will stay. I'm sorry, Celsi. Nalia's right. I can't leave Hydrage. A hint of disappointment flits across Celsi's face, but she regains her composure. It's alright. Can't say I didn't see this coming. Best of luck, Survey. After a final embrace, Celsi remounts her horse and leaves. She never looks back. Nalia is silent, echoing the emptiness left behind by Celsi's departure. I take this opportunity to ask her the question that's been burning in my mind. You said I haven't been renounced from my guardian position yet. Is this true? Oh, that's right. You don't know. Lady Johanna hasn't made the votes public yet. I don't know why. I'm grasping at straws, but hearing Nalia's words fills me with what-ifs and maybes. Was Avian able to convince his mother? Lady Johanna always had a soft spot for him. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? It does mean that Mage is a complete asshole and I should not trust him. Come tomorrow. She could easily make a delayed announcement. I know that. Was just wondering. Good. Let's head back. It's dangerous out here. By now, news should have gotten around that Hydrage came under attack. Scavengers could flock here at any moment. The words don't surprise me. Hydrage has been a stronghold for years, protected under Mage's power. Knowledge of our downfall could spread fast, and the news would excite those with the potential to profit from it. At best, inquisitive neighbors may wander into our territory. At worst, bandits will come in search for loot. Who's on night patrol tonight? No one. We don't have the manpower. Too many are injured or dead. Instead, we'll close the gates and double the guards. That means no one will be guarding the perimeter. I'll stay out here. On an empty stomach? All sleep deprived? No one's expecting you to be the sole defender of our home. Let me be. It's for my own peace of mind. Alright. If this will make you feel better, I won't stop you. Hurry back. You need to eat or you'll faint out here. I retrace my usual steps, the same path that Mage taught me to follow every night. Nothing is out of the ordinary. Yet the more I walk, the more a growing dread gnaws at my insides. Something seems to be tugging at my chest, as if there were a string attached to my heart, pulling me. I've come beyond the village borders, beyond the usual patrol routes, when a lone figure steps out from the shadows. Survey, darling, I knew that we would meet again. Illyria. You don't look too surprised. Could it be that you knew that I would be here? Maybe. I reach into my jacket and pull out a signal flare, then shoot it off into the sky. The magic-imbued flare streaks out across the horizon like a falling star. You're alone. I thought you would return with an army. Now why would I do that when the two of us can settle this ourselves? I could face Illyria head on. I was able to keep her at bay the last time we fought. But Illyria chose to show herself, which means she must have something else up her sleeve. It will be unwise to jump in blindly. Mage should be on his way here. You won't be able to defeat the both of us. Your best course of action will be to surrender yourself. Forget about Mage. I'm not confident that I could defeat you easily. A guardian with a stone could only be defeated with another with a stone. Before I fully grasp the meaning behind her words, Illyria giggles and a swell of water pierces through my back. It's sheer agony, but the location isn't fatal. The caster is either novice or the spell wasn't meant to kill. I turn, scrabbling my pocket for the stone, ready to defend myself. Only to be face to face with a terrified child. The clan of Lycian employs children in its ranks. Why? I choke on my shock, hand dumbly clutching the stone. That moment of hesitation is all it takes to cost me the fight. Oh, Lord! Anyway, that was Act 1 of Water Mage. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. It's a fairly promising visual novel, and I'm a bit curious as to know, like, where the story is going to go from here, what development is going to be like, because it seems like, although it's mostly a kinetic novel, you do make some pretty major choices throughout the story. So I'm curious about where, like, the story will go from here on out. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of the day, and as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.